There's so much to talk about this week. Wrestle Kingdom 12 is in the books. Jericho and Omega definitely did not disappoint. New Year's Dash the following day set up maybe another feud for the Y2J man himself. Raw 25 discussion is kicking up as it starts next week. It is the Raw right before the Royal Rumble that has more Rumble than ever, according to their tagline. And we're going to get into all of that this week as we... You just made the list! Kiss the ring.
Best in the world.
What?
Delete! Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready? Finally!
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the most inappropriate professional wrestling podcast on the planet. You're listening to Breaking Down the Ring on PodcastDetroit.com. We are your ring crew.
Armbar Joe.
Orlando.
And the one, the only, the champion, the almighty one himself. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no Z today because Z, I'm not even going to make a joke about Z. Z is not feeling well. Smitty is suffering from a hair loss problem. He got his afro cut and he lost 20 pounds and he's really confused on how. Callie is going to London. That's just about it. That's really all it is. She's going to London. She's going to call in though, because we're going to talk about so much stuff. Last week we had a conversation, a very, very spirited conversation regarding the equality of women in athletics.
And we need her perspective
And we
because
want-
we all pretty much agree.
Yeah, we're dudes. And so she just liked us, some tweets. So she's got to be available to call. Excuse me. Oh, gross. And when she calls, like I said, we're going to get into this because last week we were just spirited. We never said anything bad about like a workforce, like CEOs, office settings, anything like that. You know, running companies, women have 100% equal to men. If you have better qualifications, better degrees, there's no reason you need to be getting paid less than a dude if you're exactly equal to him in every category or more, you know. But in physicality, the physicality aspect is where we have the conversation is going about this, because what we're saying is that a woman, if she is put up against a larger man or a man who's even only like 20 pounds heavier than her in muscle, in the elite category, that she's probably going to, you know, lose in a match.
Even if they're the same size, I'm going to side with the man there.
Yeah. So, and you were saying, like, you made a mention about your state and high school wrestling. By the way, Callie's on the line. Hi, Callie.
Hey.
Hi. So
Ready to get offended?
No, I did not get offended.
So Orlando, you were mentioning about your high school wrestling.
Yeah, I was mentioning that there were technically state champions as well as national champions in the women's division on our team, but they would regularly get destroyed by guys who could barely win matches against regular guys on the high school level.
So, Callie, you were not on the show last week. Did you get a chance to actually listen to that whole segment?
I got to hear parts of it. it's been a crazy day, but I did get to listen to bits and pieces of what you guys were saying.
Yeah, because you're going to fucking London. First off, what are you going to London for? Let's before we go into this.
Oh man, I can't really go into that on the air.
Yeah, you can. You're going to go see some fights at the fucking O2, right?
She's scouting talent,
Yeah,
right?
I am.
Yeah,
At
that's
the Indigo.
just-
Yep.
You're 100% just going, like, crossing something off your bucket list, and that's pretty cool.
She's
I
sitting
am.
next to William
I'm
Regal.
gonna go to the O2 Indigo Arena, in London. So
And just
yeah,
get all kinds of followers on our Facebook and our Twitter, right?
absolutely.
Make sure you get them to like BDR Cast on the Snapchats as well, because we put that in effect a week ago. So
I know.
yeah.
I follow it.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell us what you were thinking after what you heard.
I mean, I definitely, to an extent, agree with you guys.
So where don't you agree then?
I guess there's like, well, it's not that I don't disagree. It's like I want to think that at some level we can compete with men, but I don't know.
Like how? Okay. And we're only talking about top fighters. Like, again, we made a strong mention that if either one of us attacked like a Ronda Rousey or a Chris Cyborg, we'd be beaten up.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to
Well,
say that
yeah.
every man is superior to. We're saying the elite fighters. We're saying the fighters that are like have trained,
Right.
that have gone through all that and everything and that's what we are saying is it, because we're not trying to in any way, shape, or form demean a woman's talent or potential, but there is a reason why the adage "for a woman" started. You know, and it sounds sexist to an extent, but if you get down to it, it's not like, oh wow, she's really smart for a woman. That's 1920 that's 1920s logic. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, look at this: a girl able to put a ponytail up and drive a car at the same time. You know, that's holy shit. That's
get on my
19.
level, like
Yeah,
Taco Bell,
right.
drive, and do a million other things at once.
Yeah, that's
Top that.
that's 1920s logic. We're not saying that. We're talking about in a physical contest with an elite athlete versus another elite athlete of the same two different genders, that the woman's just gonna get her ass kicked.
And my opinion was also that even some of the not so elite male athletes are going to be better than the elite female athletes. So if you took like a lower end, maybe a guy in Bellator gets his ass kicked a lot, and put him in there with
Right.
a top UFC woman fighter, and they're close to the same weight, the male's still going to win. It's
But
a
do you
huge
know
difference.
that for sure.
I would say it's a
I
95% chance of him winning.
It's not like a for sure
I think
conversation.
I think it's a
an
really
in general
50-50.
conversation.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's 50-50. I think that's being very gender biased, saying that females. It's just a different level of competition. It's not.
I understand that and I respect
Look,
that.
Chris
but at the
Cyborg's
same time,
a monster. But you put her in there with any guy that's been in Bellator or something, she's probably going to lose.
Any guy?
That's
Well,
where I disagree.
generally.
though.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find an exception, I'm sure.
We're talking about like the norm, the bigger percentage here.
Would you
there's
say
always
like maybe
exceptions to
70% of the
rule.
guys would kick her ass?
I would say 80.
80%?
I'm gonna go higher. Yeah, I just don't think. I really think the difference in competition. If you just look at any sports where there's a male sport and a women's sport, like I used the NBA last week. Those athletes in the NBA are on a completely different level than the level of a
yeah.
WNBA. And I think it's the same thing in almost every sport. Not that women athletes can't draw, not that they're not entertaining, but it's just a different level of competition with men. We are built to be bigger and stronger. I mean, that's, I'm not trying to demean women when I say it, but we are. And so when you get these people that are, trained to do certain things, they're going to be bigger, better, faster, stronger than women.
Right. I mean, I understand that, women, most women aren't built the same way as men are, especially when it comes down to the physique of someone who's a fighter. So I understand there's those disadvantages, but I still have a hard time saying that the lower ability or like the non-elites could take on Ronda Rousey and win.
Oh, I think you're wrong. And I've had friends that do MMA and I even know a couple people in Bellator and stuff. And I'm telling you now, they talk about just at practice when Ronda Rousey Mania was going wild and people were saying all kinds of crazy shit that she could destroy everybody. And they were saying,
I just don't know if like,
and they were saying,
Ronda
oh, they
Rousey's,
would
like,
kill
who
her.
I would choose as
but
like the top.
Any
female
female.
athlete.
Chris Cyborg, right now is probably the most dominant female fighter, I would think.
Yeah.
And I still think she gets destroyed. It's a different level of competition. Not that she's not a badass, not that she wouldn't whoop our asses, but in comparison to another fighter who's been training to do this, who's going to be bigger, faster, and stronger than her, who probably has wrestled a longer time, has done more jujitsu with more competition. I mean, it's not fair. I will say, and I mentioned this briefly last week, in our world, in the pro wrestling world, that should not make a difference because it's scripted.
Right.
And necessarily the most athletic person, the biggest person, isn't the best in our business. We've had a lot of out of shape, not necessarily athletic people be very good at what we do. So I don't think it should affect pro wrestling, which is why I'm surprised that I don't think the women have been better than they've been, because there really isn't a gender bias. I mean, you can say there's gender bias in the way they've been booked for years, but I don't think you could say there should be a bias in terms of the competition in our fake fighting world.
Would you think that that's more of the world? Because you got to remember, when WWE went to a PG era, they stopped having like this mixed match challenge is the first time they're doing anything intergender outside of James Ellsworth in the entire since the Attitude Era. You know,
I mean, they've done a little bit here and there, but for the most part.
Right, but I mean, nothing to where they're pushing
The majority of.
You know what I'm saying? You're not like, you would get a promo for next week, China's taking on Chris Jericho, whereas now it's, randomly on the spot, James or through Twitter, it was like, Ellsworth is going to fight Becky Lynch, and now there's the mixed match challenge. Everybody come check it out, intergender matches and so on and so forth. So I guess my question is then is it the PC world kind of going away from that, and that's why WWE might be starting to type into it? Or are we looking at it as, this is the internet, this isn't USA Network, this isn't a stockholder shareholder thing, this is something that we're trying to do to draw more revenue, so the shareholders kind of deal with it? Callie?
That's tough. No, I think, God, that's really tough, because it's like, I feel like we're trying to step out of these roles, as of late, especially, in the world itself. And it's hard to say, like, what kind of angle they're trying to pull here, because I would like to think that, this is them stepping away from that and choosing to break the norms and do something different, and they're hoping for the best viewer wise, and I'm hoping they're not just doing this for the polls. But it's really hard to say, though. It's
what do you say, Orlando?
Until it continues, like, can't really say.
Well, I wanted to hear Joe's opinion before I kind of chimed in.
Oh, okay, Joe.
I mean, do we even know this is a mixed match challenge, and it's going to be on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook Watch,
not on the network or USA. Do we even know that? I mean, is it still, as far as we know, when the women tag in, it's women on women and men on men only? Do we? I mean, I
believe those are the rules of mixed matches in general. But I'd be surprised to see if there's going to be no kind of spots where, where something happens, vice versa, between the men and the women.
So, I mean, as far as being PC or, not wanting to have implications as far as man on woman violence goes, like what they got away from that they used to do in the Attitude Era, I think that's a moot point in this whole thing. But,
why?
Because I don't think it's going to be about like man on woman violence. I think for the most part, it's going to be women, men, even.
I agree with that. I mean, obviously there's going to be some intergender spots. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't think that I think the only thing that would say, oh, like they're getting away from PC or getting away from, being a more family-friendly product was if it was based on more interaction between men and women in the ring.
Well, the reason I had said it was not just because it might not be a bunch of men on woman, violence or anything like that, but it's not a promoted thing in the company. It hasn't been. They don't promote intergender matches until most recently the Ellsworth Becky Lynch thing that was pushed on on Twitter, and now this is an entire.
Right. Well, they had the Cena Bella match at Mania,
right?
But still, like you said, you're talking generally speaking. No, they don't. My point and my point of view on this is a little different. I see intergender matches happen on the indies all the time, and I think WWE is they're kind of keeping their finger on the pulse of what's blowing up here and there, and I think they're trying to market that because that's a big thing on the indies right now, are intergender matches.
It works in like a Lucha Underground type setting because in that world, their performers are still presented to the fans as like almost like superhero-esque, and we all know like comic book world, women fight men all the time because these are enhanced, superpowered women that since of their
right.
incredible
There's no reason why
abilities.
Wonder Woman couldn't fight Superman.
Exactly, because of their incredible abilities. It doesn't matter if they're so unbelievably,
and
powered anyway. And that's if it's presented in something like that, like I said, how Lucha Underground does it.
My issue with that, and well, not my even issue. I just my thought process is thinking along the same lines. Is they've been trying to present the women as equal for the last year and a half. They're not, and they still don't get treated as equal anyways in terms of booking and all that. But they've been trying to present that. So are they going to present that in this tournament? Are they going to present them as, they're still the weaker gender? How they play this thing out, I think, kind of determines what they're going to do moving forward. So I think it's kind of them trying something and seeing what happens. I don't know which way they're going to do it yet. Mm-hmm. So in terms of, like I said, whether or not they're going to treat the women as just as equally as good as the men, or if they're going to be like, men are still the bigger, better ones. I don't know exactly how they're going to present that yet.
Yeah, because that starts next week, Tuesday following SmackDown.
So I am curious to see how they play that out. But like I said, in our world, there's no reason why women shouldn't be treated as somewhat of an equal. It all depends on what frame of mind you have. Do you want wrestling to be more realistic, or do you want wrestling to be comic book? And like Joe was saying, and different promotions are going to have a different audience for that. So I'm curious to see the way WWE does it with how much they've been pushing the women's revolution, which way they're going to go.
All right.
Maybe that's the whole Facebook Watch thing. Are they expecting a different audience than their norm with this?
I honestly, yeah, I would think so because
non-network subscribers, maybe more of a millennial type audience member who really only gets their viewing from like streaming and stuff like that.
Right. You gotta, the way cable's going, it's a whole bunch of streaming stuff. Facebook is trying to jump on it. Apple's trying to jump on it. YouTube has their own cable stuff now. Hulu has its own live TV. My thought process on this is WWE is reaching out to a market that has a lot of ads that are based specifically for what people like. If you've looked at something online, WWE related, you're probably going to get an ad about this mixed match challenge on your Facebook, everyone's listening. So it doesn't matter what even if you just talk about it, it's probably going to show up.
That's exactly how they do it. I don't know if we talked about that on the air. We talked about it in private, but if you even say something in front of your phone, your Facebook, they document that, and that next thing you know, you're getting advertisement about it. That is literally, as creepy as it sounds, is literally how it works.
Yep. I agree.
I tried the Cheetos thing. It didn't work.
The Cheetos thing?
Yeah, like if you talk about Cheetos, you're supposed to get like a Cheetos hat on your Facebook. A couple of minutes. Yeah.
Why they decided you didn't need any, motherfucker?
Why not?
But no, that
could
does
use some Cheetos.
That does happen though. That's a real thing.
Yeah, I like
see it.
Cheetos.
Callie, is there anything else you want to talk about before you have to disappear from our airwaves to take a flight to fucking London?
I don't know. There's not much. I can't wait to come back next week and talk about.
Make your Royal Rumble predictions.
Yes, I mean that.
Face your punishment.
Yeah, face your punishment.
Z still needs to faces before I do mine.
I agree.
So.
We gotta start putting a limitation on this. You gotta get the punishment done before the next fucking pay-per-view.
Yep.
Z still hasn't.
Yeah, 100%.
Z still hasn't even gotten his shit brought out. We're just gonna take Z to a fucking tattoo shop tomorrow. Let's just do this. Fuck it. Let's go. Let's get this tattoo
Poor
done.
Z.
Yeah. Hey, Dick, he was supposed to show up today and fucking bring me a surround sound system for our wrestling room. Anyway, so yeah, you're excited for the mixed match challenge next week to talk about?
Yeah, I have my. I don't like some of the team ups, but
Why not? Which
I'll talk
okay,
more on
so
that next.
okay, no, all the team ups have been announced. Which ones are you upset about?
Oh God. Under pressure right here. Hold on. I gotta pull up the listing again. What's it called?
Mixed match
Mixed
challenge.
match.
It's Bailey and Elias, Alicia Fox and Goldust, Asuka the Miz, Nia Jax and Apollo Crews, Sasha Banks and Finn Balor, Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman, Carmella and Big E, Becky Lynch and Sami Zayn, Natalya and Shinsuke Nakamura, Naomi and Jimmy Uso, Lana and Rusev, and Charlotte Flair and Bobby Roode.
Oh God, which one was it that really bugged me
I don't know.
the most? I think it was Goldust and
Alicia Fox?
Foxy.
Why?
I just didn't see that one coming. I don't see them as a team. I was really rooting for him and Asuka, and kind of bummed.
Now, okay.
And then I'm really bummed about the Sasha Banks and Finn Balor.
You wanted Bailey and Finn?
Yeah.
That kid's really upset too.
Yeah, kid's just upset as me, the board.
Are you about to board right now?
Oh, no, we're good.
Oh, okay. So I guess my next question about this is they put Asuka and the Miz together. Is that the Miz when they did that when they announced it on Raw? Miz was like, "You're my partner." He goes, "I just won the whole thing. You've not been defeated in anything. I just won. I won it all." It was a straight 100% shoot video, and Miz just said that he's winning it all. Do we basically think that's what's happening, or can Miz take a pin and Asuka not be damaged? Orlando.
There's always a room for shenanigans. So that's my opinion. I don't think it's that set in stone because they can do something where she was still never defeated. And,
Yeah.
and I just think there's always room for shenanigans here. So I don't think it's that set in stone. But I did like that he mentioned that.
Right. Joe.
I think it's definitely. Oh,
Go ahead, Kelly. Sorry, you're the one on a time delay.
sorry. No, I think that leaves them as such a power team. I was really bummed when Nia and Braun weren't together, and so there was talk of like they'd be untouchable. But now I'm looking at Miz and Asuka thinking the same, so that kind of bugs me.
Did she just hang up on us?
I think we lost her.
She hung up on us.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Can you not hear me?
Did you? Yeah, we heard. Did you hit mute on your phone or something?
No, I'm just sitting here with my headset.
Oh, because right when you stopped talking, it just went dead silent.
Oh, that's because I put it on mute so that you don't get the rustling around with the mic.
Didn't I just say ask her if she went on mute?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, these women
Are
can
you
barely
talking
listen as good as men
Right.
these days.
What? I answered.
Yeah, I know. Joe.
Yeah, I think Miz can go. I've been saying for years that it's all right for Miz to take losses. So I think Miz could go ahead and take a loss in this situation, and it wouldn't tarnish Asuka's record at all.
Man, I don't know, man. I think just like last week, I'm still of the same mindset where it's like if Asuka's in anything and Asuka is not part of a winning team or whatever, it looks bad on her. I think she's just been portrayed as that dominant, and they haven't put her in any type of tag match to where her team loses, or like she hasn't been involved in anything where a loss has happened, and I feel like if this is where you're going to start it, I don't know if that's a good thing. I feel it.
I guess it would depend on how it would reflect on her record at the end of the day. On how it's
I always hated
put there
that it
and
has
how
never
it's
been
put in the
pinned or
books,
submitted.
right?
You know, I always hate that. Like that, because I don't know if that means you're undefeated. I agree that you've never
to me,
been.
it means you lost. Though.
Yeah.
But the way they book things, you got to think. You can't think from your perspective. You have to think that the way they present things. So is it the way they're going to present it as if she still never took a loss?
Right. We all know that, like, WWE is totally revisionist history anyway. I mean,
Right.
they write their own history and change it as they see fit.
So does everyone.
The winners always do.
Yep. Damn Christopher Columbus. Portrayed as a hero.
Don't get me started, bro. Just kidding.
Oh man. All right. Callie.
Hold on.
Her pre-boarding starting, so we're gonna let her
Okay.
go.
All right, yeah. Let's get off the phone with Callie. Let her pay attention.
We're gonna let you go. All right, Cal.
All right.
All right. You have a safe flight to London, even though you don't control that whatsoever.
I'll
Like
pass
the
along
worst.
to the pilot.
Good luck.
Have a blasty blast in London. Put some photos on our
Not
Snapchat.
literally, though.
Yeah, don't like blow anything up. That's bad.
Oh, yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, put some
I'm
photos
sure
on
they'll
our
see my
Snapchat.
phone call.
You know, of the O2. Just show some people. Like, look, snappity snap.
I definitely will.
All right, we'll talk to you later, Callie. See you next week.
All right, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, thank God we got the woman off the phone.
Right.
Man.
My God.
She was so unequal to all of us. Like every time she spoke, it was like, our audience is stupider. 1920s logic, everybody.
I know I was getting stupider. I mean, more dumb.
I had a lady come up
See,
to the
it's already happened.
a lady come up to the bar the other day. She was like, "Can I get a water?" And I was like, "I mean, what needs to get
A
wet?"
water or what?
Yeah, I know. I was like, "What needs to get wet? You need something to water something?" Dumbass. No, I just need water. Yeah. Oh yeah, you do. Okay. Wrestle Kingdom 12 happened on the day after our last show. Wrestle Kingdom 12 was super hyped up. Chris Jericho was showing up. 10,000 more seats were sold for the Tokyo Dome this year than for last year's Wrestle Kingdom. And a lot of people believe that is very much so due to the Western popularity of the one and only Chris Jericho. Let's give you a rundown of everything. The New Japan Rumble was the beginning of it. Masahito Kakihara, isn't that Kakihara? Something like that. Won that battle. Then the Young Bucks defeated Roppongi 3K to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship for the record-breaking, their own record that they broke, 7th time. Beretta, Tomohiro Ishii, and Toru Yano defeated Bullet Club, Suzuki Gun, Elgin, and War Machine in the gauntlet match to win the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championship. The Bullet Club was Fale, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa.
Formerly Camacho.
Camacho! Kota Ibushi defeated Cody. Evil and Sonata defeated Killer Elite Squad to win the IWGP Tag Team Championship. Haruki Goto beat Minoru Suzuki in a hair and no seconds death match to win the Never Openweight Championship and keep his hair. Will Ospreay defeated Marty Scurll, Kushida, and Hiromu Takahashi to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Switchblade Jay White to retain the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Kenny Omega went over on Chris Jericho to retain the IWGP United States Championship. And Kazuchika Okada defeated Tetsu Naito to retain the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, cementing him as running even longer as the longest reigning IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Boys, the biggest story coming out of this was the Omega Jericho match. Simple and plain. Maybe not so much in Japan, but in the States and everything else, more people were talking about Omega Jericho than anything else.
I think in Japan too.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, and it's probably mostly a Western influence, but just the way that it rocked the company in the locker room. As you said earlier, 10,000 more seats than last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was something like 30-some thousand new subscribers to New Japan World.
Yep, they had over 300. They had over 30,000 pre-sold,
Right.
which is 10,000, which is also 10,000
So I mean,
more than.
if you're talking about just revenue that made the company, I mean, just the increase in butts in the seats alone, let alone the subscribers, I mean, that gave a serious influx of cash to New Japan.
Yeah, they even had a press conference, I want to say, 2 days later, where they said they'll be able to pay wrestlers more money and hopefully bring in more people that have cemented a name with WWE until, quote, the other side wants to play nice.
Yeah, I think Jericho helps. I think New Japan was already kind of building some momentum, and I think getting Jericho was
6-star match. Woo!
I think the 6-star match. I think them doing some shows over here. I think them getting there's becoming a more of an American audience for that. You're talking about Mark Cuban getting involved, helping them financially.
Their booker is Ghetto, who's an American wrestling fan.
Right. So
is Mark Cuban involved in New Japan? I know.
There's
he owns,
like rumors of him.
He owns Access TV.
Yeah, I know that.
So
So there's all kinds of rumors with more American sponsors. It was the right time to bring Jericho in. He just came off this hot run, most over guy of the year, I thought. And then here they bring him in at the right time when that audience needed it. If they had done this a year or two prior, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. Jericho wasn't as hot. Their company wasn't as hot. It was the right time for all of it to come together.
Perfect time for Omega, too, because he really had nothing going on at the time. Was going to have another 6 or 7 or 8, 10-star match with someone again.
Yep.
So it was like he was desperately in need for something different to do himself.
And let's be honest, the match delivered. That was one of the nice things about the matches. I thought it really delivered. I thought it was a really good match.
Some of the quote-unquote experts are calling it Jericho's best match of all time. That's
I don't think
subjectable, of course, but
there's elements where Jericho looked old in the match, and blown up. But that said, man, when they were brawling, did they make you buy into it? And that's one of the things I was talking about lately is how the things that we've liked in wrestling have been this cheesy shit. They made you believe that they were really trying to beat each other's ass out there.
Yeah.
And that brawling in the beginning I thought was so good. So fucking good that you were so invested. And Jericho's eating Omega up, which was fucking a great part of the story. When Omega finally makes his comeback, because Omega doesn't get eaten up a lot. Normally, it's very 50-50 with him, if not even more so him than the other guy. And Jericho ate him up, which was great, and just they told a really good story in the match. It was a really, really good match.
Joe, how did you feel about the match?
I agree with everything Orlando said and more. I mean, I thought especially when it went to the outside, and I mean, that took it to a lot of different aspects that you're not going to obviously see in Okada Omega. You can tell they had certain spots in there that they wanted to do, but you can also tell that a lot of that shit was just called on the fly. And it just made it feel more real, more natural, more like a fight, which, like you said, we don't see enough of anymore. I mean, but it was clear to me as a fan watching this that, like, these two guys were out there to kick the shit out of each other. And that's too few and far between in wrestling matches these days, I think.
Right.
And so it's refreshing to see that,
to make us believe that they
and
really want to beat each other
suspend our
up.
disbelief as we say so often,
Instead of just having a good match,
but do it successfully. So it's very refreshing to see that and get that feeling from it. So I love the match. Was it some great technical Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels? No. Was it some great 7-star Okada Omega? No, but it wasn't supposed to be that. It was supposed to be a fight.
And
it was supposed to be emotional. It was supposed to draw emotions out of you, and it did all that.
And again, there's some minor critiques. I know Mikey had an issue with when the refs started counting randomly for the count out, even after they'd been outside on the floor for 3 minutes.
Right, because there's no DQ. I mean,
right.
Yeah,
and there's a couple other weird little things that you could point out, be like, oh, maybe they could have done more here.
Red Shoes was a little off in that match, I think.
But that said, the overall, when you took away, like Joe was saying, it made you feel in a match again, and you weren't just watching to watch a quote unquote good match. You were literally, you got bought into the story. So I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I agree. The counting for the ref, I was like, what? Why is this happening?
I think this Red Shoes is seriously, the referee himself was just having kind of an off night,
which is fine.
He was I think at one point Jericho had Kenny in the walls, and like
he grabbed
Omega
the rope.
was like, and like Red Shoes is counting like there's no fucking rope break, dumbass. And so
Jericho even yelled at him and said that. He was like, "There's no." He goes,
like,
"This is no DQ,
right,
asshole."
yeah. So I think Red Shoes is just maybe having a little off
Which
of a
is
night.
fine. And I mean, look,
Which, I mean, you can't blame that on Jericho or Omega. That's the
100%
ref, you know?
nitpicking. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. And if you're nitpicking the ref, you know, if that's all you got to nitpick, that was a pretty damn good match.
You can nitpick so many things on so many levels. You know, that 6-star match last year, again, it's like, okay, but there was a time where they were out on the floor for almost 2 minutes, but it was a championship match that had disqualification. So why wasn't the ref counting then? You know, and that throws away the psychology of that match. However, this match with a ref making mistakes and everything, that's fine. I'm not.
It saves the psychology of the match.
I'm not giving it shit. They're supposed to be outside fighting. They said it 100% every time Jericho spoke about this match. He said, it's not going to be a fucking technical masterpiece. We're going to fight. I'm going to change Kenny Omega. I'm going to beat the hell out of him. I'm going to make him bloody. I'm going to and he did. He did. And he took Kenny Omega to a level that nobody else in New Japan could have taken Kenny Omega. Omega himself has to know that he is at a much higher level, wrestling wise, over wise, than anybody could have done for him that's in Japan right now. Naito could not have done it. Okada, they've gone back and forth enough. You can't get any higher with Okada. Cody couldn't have done it. You needed another name.
He's not going to be wrestling anybody more over than him in New Japan. This was his chance to do that.
You needed another name from the outside that was bigger than yours. And Chris Jericho, with everything that he has going on, is a name that's bigger than Kenny Omega's.
Oh, for sure.
Best year of his work with WWE. He got a fucking
his pedigree alone.
over.
He's been around for so long. His career is unbelievable.
After, like, at the same time, though, 2 years ago, this wouldn't have done shit for him. Jericho, okay, cool.
Like I said, Jericho wasn't as hot. New Japan wasn't kind of ripe for the American audience yet.
I think
it was the right time.
As much as Jericho helped Omega, I think Omega helped Jericho too, because I mean, I don't think, granted, like, Jericho's super over in WWE with the list and the whole program with KO and like the Festival of Friendship. That was some of the best stuff that he did, but like that was more of like a lighthearted entertainment aspect. This whole program, you know, when you watched Jericho beat down Kenny and Fukuoka, and then the press conference the next day, and then the match itself and the promos that were being cut, like Jericho got to be portrayed as like a badass, which you haven't really seen him portrayed that way in a long time. And it kind of reminded you as a fan that like, oh dude, Jericho can like fuck somebody up if he wants to, and he's he just did, and he's gonna, you know?
Yeah, but I don't think that's Omega. I think that's the fact that he had the no rules of New Japan. Omega didn't put Jericho over at all. Jericho's more over than Omega. So Jericho's stature and
I'm saying that the character that Jericho got to portray in this whole program, and I think it benefited Jericho as well as like,
oh yeah.
I think it benefited Jericho, and I think it benefited Jericho in another way. When I think about Jericho's career, and you think about just kind of the span of everything from ECW to WCW to WWE, and now he goes to New Japan, 30 years into his career, 20-something years into his career.
And he's already had
and has a main event,
a bunch of trips
level
to
match
Japan
there.
Before,
right.
but never on this scale.
Right, and he was a junior heavyweight then.
Right.
This is not the same. He goes in there, now he's a main eventer. And it's when you think about how many guys have really had that career, that ECW, WCW, I mean, a lot of guys spent time in Japan in the 90s and stuff, but not to come back and be like the main event over there.
Is it like him and Brock Lesnar are the only two people to headline a WrestleMania and a Wrestle Kingdom?
I don't know. I'd have to look into it, but it's really I'm not a huge Jericho mark like everybody else is, and now I look at it and I go, how can he not be in at least your
even
top
if you're
25
not a mark
ever?
How can you not respect the accomplishments that he's
like
made?
How if you're making a list of the
you have
top
to respect
whatever.
A, his work ethic, B, the way he's taken advantage of every opportunity put in front of him, C, the way even at the tail end of his career and way later on in life, the way he constantly finds ways to reinvent himself and his character to remain relevant and if not at the top of the card, at the very least at the top of a talking point within the industry too. So even if you don't like him as a performer, you have to respect all those elements of him.
I'm just saying now, I think if you look at his career, and I think this was kind of like the bow at the end. You know what I mean? He's put a nice bow, this nice last run of WWE, this nice little bow in New Japan on this career. I think he's a top 25 performer of all time. Like, that's a huge statement, I think. And some people would probably rate him higher than that.
I think he already was.
I don't want to go as crazy because some people, they have their personal preference, but I think, like, he's almost part of mainstream culture in a way. He's so close. Jericho is.
Yeah. No,
because he was on Dancing with the Stars, you know what I mean? Like, he's done a lot of things. He's in a band, like, he's
last
so close to being.
Album is doing really well.
Yeah, he's so close to being a part of, like, mainstream culture in a way. If he could get there, then I'd go, he's for sure or whatever. But he's not. He's never been quite that guy.
I'd say most people in their 20s to 40s, 50s that pay any type of attention whatsoever to pop culture in the least probably know who Chris Jericho is.
I hope so.
You would think so.
But it's hard to say because, you know what I mean? I don't know what people are into anymore.
Well, that's why I say if they're into pop culture at all,
I
in
know,
the least.
But pop culture is so, I mean,
this
is a side talking point, but I just feel like
it's a wide,
especially today.
It's a wide category.
There's so many niches for
genres
everybody.
of pop.
Yeah.
I'm going back. I'm looking at all the main events for Wrestle Kingdom, and right now I'm at 5. I want to say, 5. Like so far, and Jericho's co-main event. Nakamura's been in the main event a couple times. That's 4. For 3, we had Tanahashi and Muto.
Because Brock Lesnar was their champ over there for like a minute. Was that a Wrestle Kingdom thing?
I thought he won it at a Wrestle Kingdom. Kurt Angle was in one.
Or maybe that was before they started calling it Wrestle Kingdom. Because like they're only on Wrestle Kingdom 12, but they've been doing something on January 4th for like almost 30 years now. So it just hasn't always been called Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. I don't have
It's probably before they started
either
calling
way,
it that.
I just think, now even if you weren't necessarily the biggest mark for him, like I wasn't, I think you have to go. He's one of the best that there's ever been.
Oh yeah, agreed wholeheartedly.
And I just think this is the bow that seals it. You know what I mean? This puts the little bow on the nicely wrapped present of his career.
And from what it appears like, it doesn't appear like he's anywhere near being done either.
No, I think he's got a little left, but I don't know if he's gonna. He'll have this nice last little bit in New Japan, and he might come back here and there and have something. But I don't think he can. We can realistically expect him to be as over as he was with the Kevin Owens storyline.
No, there's after the list and the Kevin Owens thing, there's like nothing that he could have done in WWE that would have been as impactful as this.
Right. So I think this is I said a nice little bow at the end, and I think again he's still got a little left. I'm not trying to say he's done, but I just think this really seals the deal. If you had any doubt that this guy wasn't one of the best of all time, I think this seals the deal.
We at least know that he's going to have a match with Naito, or else he wouldn't have attacked him at New Year's Dash. And I've already heard him plugging a possible rematch with Omega too. So it sounds like he wants to do a few more things with New Japan at the very least. So
good for him. I think Naito's also coming over for an indie show in Illinois, I think in February or March for
the Long Beach show is in March.
Glory Pro, which is my buddy Jake Something's the champion of that promotion. So they put Naito, they advertised him like months ago, and immediately like they sold out their event. So good for them. So he'll be here in the Indies soon, which is kind of crazy.
Which is even more crazy to think, because then it's very possible that you could see a Chris Jericho show up at it, keeping stuff going and everything like that.
You said that show was in California also?
No, this show is in Illinois.
Illinois, okay.
Yeah, they, Glory Pro,
I think the Long Beach thing is March 25th, if I'm not mistaken.
February 18th. So next month.
Naito will be in the States wrestling at an indie show. And that's why I try to tell people, like, people don't realize, like, in terms of indie wrestling, there's really good indies and there's really bad indies. And so, it's kind of like painting. You can go watch some really fucking Picasso type artists on the indies. You can also watch finger painting too, though, so you got to be careful where you're going. But this there's a lot of these top indie promotions that I kind of feel like I said it before when we talked about the NXT brand. They kind of steal their mojo from like these super indie shows. It's the exact same formatted shows, just with the WWE machine behind it. You know what I mean? Better production. It's the exact same formatted shows. So like when I remember when NXT first was blowing up, everyone was like, "This is so good." And I'd be like, "Man, I see these shows all the fucking time. It's just with WWE's name on the marquee now."
Yeah, it's the only difference. Yeah. Look, man, Jericho and Omega. I loved the match. It was easily, to me, was the best match on the card. To me. And I thought Naito and Okada was good, but I just thought, there was much more emotion involved with Jericho Naito, so I was more invested into that. Even though I love how Naito wrestles, I love Okada. I when we came out and had the conversation about the PWI score rankings and how Okada was number 1, I was like, yeah, fucker deserves it. Easily. I think he's the number 1 wrestler because he can go out there with anybody and have a fucking amazing match.
And now he's added a third move to his repertoire. The Cobra Clutch.
The 5 moves of doom.
Dude, but he gets those fucking 3 moves over, man. I mean, that's all he needs to be a top performer.
A match that I wanted to talk about that was not as hyped, but wow, I thought was, if it wasn't for Jericho Omega, was the show stealer. It was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship with Ospreay, Marty Scurll, Kushida, and Hiromu Takahashi. Those guys put on a show, man.
Those guys are incredible.
It's, Scurll was in there with all 3 of those guys are, as some people like to refer to them, spot monkeys, and they're the people that, are flipping and flopping everywhere. Skrull's not that wrestler. So the fact that he didn't look like he was out of place, it was still a very good match, even if he dropped the title to Ospreay. It was, I was very impressed.
That was a long time coming for Ospreay.
Yeah.
And they've been on and off rivals for a while.
So I wanted, so talk about that match, Joe. I mean, just like,
as you said, the other 3 you can totally label as spot monkeys. The thing with Marty Scurll is he can kind of do that stuff too, but he's not known for it because he's such a character. Mm-hmm. He's almost, he's a heel, but he's almost like a character babyface, and he's so much more of a storyteller. Not to say that the other 3 are not storytellers in the ring, but that's Marty Scurll's thing. Just to see him athletically still hang with those guys was awesome. And then at one point, you actually saw the 2 heated rivals, Scurll and Ospreay, team up on the other 2 for a short period of time during the match, which just normally you wouldn't see it, but just in the thrills of competition and wanting again. This match, was it a spot fest? Yes, but what I like about it is like in the same aspect as what we said about Jericho and Omega. This may have been spot monkeyish, but you could tell these guys were out to win this match.
And it was a purposeful.
And it wasn't just a performance. I mean, they did high risk, high spot type things, but it was done with a purpose.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it is, look, man, there's the points where you're doing dumb stuff in the ring, like, where, like we were talking about where the MMA guys ripped onto the Young Bucks match, at Final Battle. And they're like, this is what you pay for. And then there's the high spots that you do that belong within the psychology of the match. You get it. It plays into it. It tells more of a story. It's not just, oh, we're about to be silly now for like 20 seconds real quick,
Without the Jericho Omega thing and all the hype and the noise and, the hoopla surrounding it, and it was a great match. If you take that match off the card, this junior heavyweight match
is the show.
Could have been the show.
Yeah, agree with that.
It was that good.
Mm-hmm. Orlando.
No, I enjoyed the match. I probably didn't enjoy it as much as you guys, but it's subjective. I see, and I've been a part of so many of these 4-way, 3-way matches. That's, to me, if you have good talent in the ring, I've always said these matches are almost easier than a singles match. One, you don't get as blown up because you take a spot and you're down, then you get to come in and do another fucking spot when it's time. Right. But also in the sense that you can be more creative and you can do things in a match like that you can't do in a singles match. So singles matches I've always felt like are harder in a certain aspect. But I always say in these multi-man matches, they're the hardest thing is to stand out because there's so much shit that happens. Like, how do you stand out unless you're the one winning? Usually, it's really
especially
hard to
if
stand out.
Ospreay is a member of that match. How do you stand out when you already know he's going to be a standout for sure?
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's kind of like so much what we call fireworks that, like, at the end, all the fireworks look the same. Remember when the first time you go to see a fireworks show every year, the first firework or two, you're like, wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
By the end, you're like, just get to the fucking grand finale. It's the same concept. You just care less and less the more and more they do about the people. You still care about the spots and you're still into the match, but you start to care less about the individual. So the goal in those matches is to stand out. And what I thought they did well was they did stand out still.
Yeah.
And that's a hard part in those matches. So kudos to those guys. I didn't think it was as good as you guys did, but I still thought it was really good. And I thought it was at the right time on the show too.
What do you think had the potential to be the show stealer if it was? Do you think Jericho and Omega was the best match on the show?
Yeah, I think Jericho and Omega was the best match on the show. I think Naito and Okada was better than the 4-way. But again, it's subjective.
Right.
So I think that was probably your next best. But I still think that I'm not knocking that match.
Right. No, I know.
I just give my opinion of it.
No, when I say steal the show, I mean like
Well, I was kind of disappointed in the Cody Ibushi match.
I agree
Because
with you. That was my next fucking point.
I said it last week. I was kind of expecting them to be the show stealer.
Yeah.
In my brain, I go, these two are really good.
Yep.
I think Cody could bring out Ibushi's storytelling. Ibushi could make Cody do a little more spots, and I think they could have this really great match. And it wasn't bad. Like let's just preface, this was not a bad match by any means.
Yeah, none of these matches sucked.
No.
I don't think any of them sucked.
No, this was not a bad match by any fucking stretch. It just wasn't. It did not live up to my expectation of what an Ibushi Cody Rhodes match should be on that level,
Right.
on that scale.
There was a good heat spot with that when Ibushi went over the top rope and landed in Cody and Brandy, and then Brandy sold it like she was down, and then
Right.
after Cody attacked Ibushi, he laid down, looked at Brandy, they both just start laughing, and it's like, oh, that's a
Right.
good heat spot. It's exactly what you want to do.
And so, like, theoretically, I thought going into the show, I was like, oh, that match is going to be really fucking good. And
We
it was. And
even
it
spoke
wasn't.
about it last
It was
week,
solid. I mean, it was a solid match. It just wasn't. It's
Wasn't
not
6
it's not,
stars.
It's definitely not going to be something that people remember. You know what I mean? This is going to
Right.
be something that 10 years from now, people are going to be like, oh, they wrestled there. You know, it's not going to be a memorable thing.
Which is really sad because when you go on a New Year's Dash, all the stuff that was happening with Cody and Ibushi to where Omega came out causing more of the problems, because you're no longer thinking about, oh, why did this start? It's more like, this started because of last night. It's, why did this start? That's what I meant to say. You're wondering why Cody was going so hard on Ibushi, and it made no sense, and then like I said, we're moving into New Year's Dash now. So Kenny Omega comes out and breaks it up, and they get into their first real shove fest, as members of the Bullet Club, even though there's been the throw in the towel thing and stuff like that. This whole dissension in the Bullet Club. And, so there was that part to which then he asked Switchblade Jay White to come out, and he offered him the Bullet Club shirt, and then after taking the shirt, Jay White hit him with the Blade Runner, and then proceeded to beat up Omega, and it was like, okay, cool, we're seeing that Kenny's saying there's a problem within the group, and then there's someone denying the Bullet Club, to go to Chaos, because he went and did a press conference with Okada the next day. I don't know, man. It seems like, do you guys think, and they're getting away from Bullet Club? Maybe now because they're just gonna go with Omega and the Bucks under the Elite, or because with that, this could be a potential, blow up of the faction.
I did read something the other day that said that, and I don't know if it had happened yet, but it did say that Bad Luck Fale has a huge announcement upcoming. What that is, I don't know.
Oh, well, let's look it up. Thanks for your insight, Joe.
While you look that up, I guess I'll give my opinion. I just think you got to be careful to not oversaturate the brand anyways, because you don't want it to become.
You don't want it. Yeah, you don't want
to
be,
NWO it.
Yeah,
and so
which I think they've done a good job not
letting
it get there yet. Anyway,
right. It's also helped that they don't have as much exposure. in terms of like WCW would have.
Or as many members in, like, you know,
Yeah,
they had
and
like half the roster in there at one point.
So causing dissension, I think, is a good thing here, because it also gives someone for the Bullet Club to face, which is something they need. They need a rival because they don't really have any. There's always guys coming in like a tag team. There's nobody to kind of like lead against them.
And if you remember, this isn't the first time there's been dissension within the Bullet Club. It was back at earlier. Well, I can't say this year. Last summer-ish, Dominion or G1 or something, where like Tama Tonga was beefing. It was like Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa kind of beefing with the Bucks and Kenny because they were pushing the elite stuff so much, and Tama Tonga's like, you know, you're either Bullet Club or you're not, and you know they had their fight about it, and then they fought about it and they settled it, and they're still brothers within the Bullet Club, you know. So it's not the first time we've seen this before where there's been beef within the Bullet Club, but they've always worked it out in the past where it hasn't been a detriment to the group.
Yep, and like I said, I think it gives them someone to face that's credible, which is something they need right now because they face everyone else there.
The announcement was the New Japan going to Australia thing.
Oh, that's why because he's New Zealand. He's okay.
Yeah,
that's why it's a big announcement for him. Okay,
exactly. I don't know, man. With the WWE pushing, you know, the original 3 of the original 5 members together now, and it's being so over, just like within the Hot Topic and everything like that. I think it's a smart idea, like you guys said, to, you know, we don't want to do the oversaturation, but there's always been. This could be the first time that when a Bullet Club member leaves the stable, they can continue to fight. Because every other time that someone has left, they've gone to another company. They've gone to WWE. Finn, AJ, Gallows, Anderson. You know, they haven't been able to stay there. So with Kenny getting the huge face pop while facing Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom, and then getting the huge face pop when he stopped Cody from being the heel that the Bullet Club is supposed to be, I could even see the Bucks and it just being the elite over there in New Japan and our Ring of Honor having their own stable.
Maybe. I don't know. That's a big commitment. I think obviously Kenny was the face in the program with Jericho, but I don't know if he's like full like 1980s Hulk Hogan face right now, I still think there's some heel in him, and the Bullet Club. I mean the Bucks as well.
I mean, man, when they're not getting heel reaction whatsoever
from the fans, like Japan is like Naito doesn't get heel reactions either.
I agree.
And Naito acknowledges the fans as typically heels shouldn't. But so I guess some could say maybe that's Japan psychology is a little bit different over there. But I would still consider Naito a heel, just because of his actions in the ring, not necessarily how he's endeared by the fans.
Right. And I agree. But then when you have Kenny Omega coming out to save Ibushi, that's an in-ring action that is definitely not what a heel would do. That is 100% a face move. You're stopping somebody from getting his ass beat. You're saving the day. That's 100% face. And then when everything's broken up between Cody and Kenny, again, it seems to me like this could lead to something. Maybe not now. Maybe not, in Long Beach. Maybe not.
Maybe it's a seed planted, or maybe it's just something with Kenny and Cody.
Cody versus Kenny at Wrestle Kingdom 13.
Right.
Something like that.
Or even Long Beach.
I think Long Beach is too soon. I think you have other things that you could do. It's also, they're all basically booked on the Jericho cruise as well.
Everyone except for Kenny.
Yeah. So.
And who knows, by the time that thing rolls around, he could be booked too.
100%. 100%. So let's move on to the next thing. Raw 25 is happening at the next Monday Night Raw. It's called Raw 25 because, 25th anniversary. of Monday Night Raw. It's been going for 25 years. They're bringing back a lot of names. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker,
Shawn Michaels,
Triple H, Ric Flair, Dudley Boys, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, New Age Outlaws, Booker T, JBL, and Ron Simmons, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Brother Love, Boogeyman, Teddy Long, John Laurinaitis, Sergeant Slaughter, and the Bella Twins, not to mention that King and JR are going to be teaming up for commentary again.
I'm more excited for this than anything they've put out in years. More than Mania.
With all that stuff going on, when are they going to have time to have some actual matches with their
it's happening in two places. It's happening at the Manhattan Center and Brooklyn's Barclays Center.
What's the deal? I quite don't understand that.
The WrestleMania 2 in it, man.
Yeah. They're treating it like that.
So obviously people on TV are going to be missing some stuff, and
yep.
Yeah.
So that's
one arena is going to be missing some stuff and the other one's going to be missing stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
But we'll get to see all the big stuff
right.
for us. So that's when the regular Raw superstars go out that we don't care about. Switch to the other.
I don't know if there's a simulcast they're going to be doing, or maybe you'll see more of something going on at the Manhattan Center. The Manhattan Center stuff happening on the network. There was a rumor going around this is going to be a 5-hour Raw. Thank God that rumor was killed and it's only going to be 3. Because I don't know if I could sit down for 5 hours of Raw.
Nah, with those guys, maybe I could.
I don't know, man.
But the only thing is none of them can really work anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
there's 3 or 4 of them that can still. The Dudleys and I guess Ron
X-Pac
Simmons.
could work.
Not even
maybe.
the Dudleys.
They won't let X-Pac because he's
got hepatitis. That's
Yeah.
right. You're right. I forgot about that.
And they won't let Bubba because Bubba couldn't clear their concussion thing.
Oh, yes. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
So,
Bubba's final battle at Ring of Honor's final battle was his last match. Because he could wrestle with his head condition there.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know who else they brought back that. I mean, I guess Undertaker might do something, teasing a Mania match or something. If his hip's better, okay. But I can't watch him hobble around the ring like last year.
He's been hard to watch the past. I don't know since Lesnar beat him.
What
did he do the year before Lesnar?
Punk.
That was
And then he did Wyatt
not
the
much
year
that
after
was
Lesnar.
rememberable. That was the whole when Paul Bearer died.
Yeah, and then Punk was
Well,
doing
he took
that.
on Bray after Brock.
That's what I said.
That was
after
that
Brock.
was the year before.
The year before
Brock?
was Punk.
Okay.
And the year before that was the Triple H and the Hell in a Cell, which was awesome, which would have been a great note to go out on.
He should, man. It's yes,
Because that would have been 20-0. He should have made it a nice round 20-0. And
Well, just also that story of them all coming together and then kind of leaving.
Yeah.
It was a great story.
finale to the match.
Right. That said, so anyways, I'm curious to see where everyone's going to do. I imagine a lot of the jabroni heels are going to get beat up. I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm excited to see Austin back. I'm excited to see Shawn out there, Flair, all these guys. Nostalgia's running wild for me here.
Right.
So I want to see it. And as I think back, 25 years is a long time for any TV program.
Dude.
Do they bring in Hogan?
And I was gonna ask. It's the only name that has been mentioned, but
If he
on
was to be there, they
fucking
wouldn't
Tuesday-
mention it. That would have to be a
on
surprise.
fucking Tuesday when he was mentioning the long storied history of the WWE title, Byron Saxton made mention of Hulk Hogan. It's the first time Hogan's name's been used on WWE TV since he dropped the N-bomb. Well, since they found out he dropped the N-bomb.
Right, they could do some segment with him where he goes to say it. Ron Simmons comes in. I'm
Damn.
kidding. I don't want to see that, but it is funny.
Yeah, you do.
WWE would never do that.
Either way, they have so much name value on this. It's like, how can you not just tune in just to see what the fuck it's going to be?
Can I get the always pounding ass?
They could even get like Booker T to be like, Hulk Hogan, I'm coming to get you, and then
Right.
like,
And then-
It's just
and
too
then
obvious.
Ron Simmons
grabs
come
the
in
mic.
like, damn, that would be perfect.
Oh my gosh.
They should hire me.
You know,
That's good TV.
Personally, like, I actually think that'd be a good thing because I'm a fan of stand-up comedy. I think the way you kind of get through shit is you make fun of it.
Yeah, you just own it and make fun of it.
Right.
Dude.
I think that would be funny to get rid of it, but I don't think they're going to go with all the sponsors
Oh,
and
yeah.
PG World. I just
That
don't-
would be hilarious. Though, come
but
on,
It would be
great.
for us.
I could see a WWE.com video.
But
Or they could do that on like Southpaw region. That would be awesome.
So, okay, what the Hogan question was there? Are there any other names that you think they might bring that they haven't announced? Because look, man, WWE's all about surprises, and they have made a lot of announcements, a lot of conversation about people coming back.
there's got to be somebody that we're
So
or
outside of
maybe
Hogan-
The Rock?
CM Punk.
Maybe The Rock.
I'm not gonna.
No Punk. The Rock, you think Rock should show?
Isn't there rumor that The Rock might work at Mania this year?
I don't know. The Rock's like
I never heard
tired
that.
his past few appearances.
So I wouldn't be completely shocked, but they might bring The Rock back.
All right, Joe. Anyone that you think they actually might bring back? I know you made that Punk joke.
That was my big. I was Hogan, and then I was kind of half-ass joking about Punk.
Half-assed. So you want Punk back? You want Punk back?
I know he won't, but I mean, if you're talking about a surprise that would shock and rock the wrestling world, that would be it. Are you talking about like a nostalgia pop or something that's like a meaningful like?
No, it could be nostalgia or meaningful. I'm talking about someone that they haven't announced that they could bring back, and you'd be like, "Fuck yeah, really happy to see them."
Rob Van Dam.
RVD. All right, I can see RVD's even a logical choice.
Yeah,
But I heard he's got some concussion, some health things.
But again, it's even so. We're not talking anybody's have to wrestle. I'm not saying wrestling because you know for a fucking fact that Brother Love is not coming out
maybe
to
Eric
wrestle.
Bischoff. Let's see Bischoff.
Well, he was
Bischoff?
never a wrestler anyway.
That's
Bischoff would be cool.
I do have a small issue with something they've been doing on the network. So I don't know if this is just network specific, but they've been releasing like the top 100 moments of Raw,
Yeah, it's totally network specific.
and it's shit. It's such
Is it?
shit. I watched the first 25 moments. They're just trying to push like today's performers. They got all these moments that are no way near the top 100 moments of Raw.
Like what? I haven't even seen them
when you
yet.
see the list, I can't even tell you because some of these moments are so irrelevant that you'd be like, how the fuck is this one of your 100 best moments? It's god awful. So I was getting angrier and angrier watching their 100 greatest moments list on their network because it's just, I get it, the revisionist history, but stop it. Stop being stupid. Like don't tell me that fucking, I don't know. The moments were really dumb.
So no, this is as of, oh no, this is super old. So wait, Silent Stare number 100? The first thing being Triple H and Undertaker?
I don't know.
Because this is a
it's like a list and they do like one at a time.
yeah.
And then you have to go to the next one and the next one and the next one.
Oh no, the thing that I was looking at was like number 100 through such and such.
Well, they haven't even got all the way down the list yet, but I got to 75 and I was like, okay, this list is shit. So I was upset with that. That said, I did want to ask you guys while we're on the topic, 25 years, like what would you say are some moments that you guys kind of remember about Raw?
Joe?
25 years is a long time.
In more modern history, I think it was 2013 when RVD made his return and just had a match on his return date against Jericho.
Yeah, I remember that match.
It was like at the time I touted it to be match of the year contender, and it wasn't a very memorable run for Rob, but just for that night, the feeling of giddiness as a fan you get to see the return, and then to that same night have like what I consider to be a match of the year candidate match. It was just that's like the rare things that the mark-ass wrestling fans like me like live for. So
No, there's
in modern history, that would be one of them.
There was a match and one of their other Raw anniversaries that nobody talks about, and I think is a really great match. It's Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels in a 30-minute Iron Man match, and it's one of my favorite matches. And I think it might have been, I don't know, this is one of their anniversary shows for something on Raw. And,
Was this after their WrestleMania match?
Yes.
Like maybe Raw 10-year anniversary?
Yeah, it was maybe Raw 10. Is it that long? My God.
Because, yeah, if we're talking 25, it's 17. Raw 10.
Probably
yeah.
fucking Raw 10. Wow. Makes me feel...
Because Kurt wrestled
they
Shawn at 21, I believe.
Yes, they did a 30-minute Iron Man match on Raw, Kurt and Shawn, and it's fucking fantastic. It's a really great match, and nobody ever talks about it. And I was like, man, when I think of Raw's greatest matches, I go, man, that match is fucking so good.
man, so I got into this business on 100% performance, not the wrestling. It was always the mic work. Which is weird because so I got into wrestling through my aunt. After my parents moved to Florida. Like I didn't get into wrestling until much, much later, and then the history came, but I was introduced to WCW. My aunt loved Goldberg and I was like, okay, cool.
I love Goldberg.
Yeah, I know.
Your aunt's cool with me, man.
And I was like, okay, he's all right, and then the older guys are all talking and you're just like, cool. Then I switched over to WWF and it was The Rock that pulled me in 100%. It was his mannerisms, how he was acting, so on and so forth. Obviously, because of this, his promos are what always stood out, or some sort of big thing that happened entertainment wise. There was obviously the largest rating that Raw has ever gotten is Raw and Mankind, Rock and Mankind, Rock, This Is Your Life. But if I had to honestly choose something that I truly popped for, it's Austin and the Zamboni. We're Detroit people, man. I'm from Detroit. So
Hockey town.
Throwing the belt in the Detroit River.
There is nothing more symbolic to, especially where they were at the Joe. So there's nothing more symbolic to that arena than hockey. So for him to drive down in the Zamboni all the way up and just jump, it was great.
They just re-showed that on this week's Raw.
It was so good. And you're looking at it, and if there's anything anybody wants to do with any television show, with any type of medium that they're trying to get out to their audience, is they want their audience to relate to it. Right there, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm in.
Plus, Austin has got to drive so many just crazy things down to the fucking
He
ring.
said before, like if it's got four wheels, and even in the Zamboni case, so that's even a little different. But if it's got four wheels, he can drive it. He can drive anything. He's pretty much claiming.
Cement truck.
He's proved it.
Big
the
foot.
cement truck. He drove the fucking semi and beer fucking sprayed everyone down with beer. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
He drove the monster truck, crushed the Rock's car, the Rock's Lincoln.
Right. He dropped the other thing on the DX Express, right?
Yeah. The crane.
Yeah. What a fun job for Austin.
Right, man.
That was a SmackDown moment, I think, but still, nonetheless, Austin.
It's better than taking bumps, eh, kid? Oh,
Austin getting the fuck. That's what I mean. So there's so many great moments, especially in that kind of era. The Austin McMahon fucking gun thing. He makes Vince pee his pants. He shoots the gun and says, "Bang, 316, little toy gun." They just did so many ridiculous things.
or what about the debut of Jericho?
Yeah, it's a great moment.
That's probably the greatest debut in wrestling history, if not one of them.
Yeah, it's up there.
That's Raw, right?
That
Yeah,
was Raw. They did the countdown for months, and this is kind of before everything got ruined.
Got thrown right in there, fucking talking smack back and forth with The Rock. How cool is that?
And then demoted because everyone thought he was doing it wrong. Only to come right back up and be one of the hottest people in wrestling in 2017. 18.
Yeah, it only took him 18 years. I'm just kidding.
Like Benoit when he won the title. 18 years.
We don't talk about him.
I mean, Crispin.
Yeah, that's
wow.
That's
there's just been so many really great moments in Raw's history. The CM Punk pipe bomb promo was a great moment in modern history.
So, okay.
The Rock coming back that first time and that promo he cut on John Cena.
I know.
Which might have been
when he
the
said
best
he was,
promo I've ever
when
heard.
When he said he was back to stay, and then he wasn't back to stay.
You can't see me. You can't see me.
But that was cool at the time.
But that promo when he came back for 15 minutes, and that was probably the best promo I've ever seen.
Really?
That first promo when he first came back after 7 years. Yeah, that was money.
Because I was like fringe watching at that point. Because the product wasn't great, but obviously being the level of fan that I once was at one point and returned to be, I heard the rumbles, and I saw it, I was still like on my DVR or whatever at the time. So I saw, and that really like got me back into wrestling when I was at a point of like not being so heavy into wrestling. I was like telling my buddies that I used to like watch pay-per-views with, and like they had kind of fallen off watching. I was like, dude, man, like the fucking Rock is back, dude. You know,
it was a sick promo.
It was.
He didn't talk for like 4 minutes. It was just I was like, please fucking say something at some point.
Yeah, and then he said finally Rock came back home.
Right.
That was chilling.
Right.
Goosebumps.
And then the promo he cut on Cena was fucking sick. It was just a great. I honestly think it's probably one of the best promos I've ever heard. There's also some other really fun Raw promos. Austin and Rock singing Margaritaville.
Wasting away at Margaritaville.
There's just been so many fucking great moments on the show, great matches. Even if you think of the early Raws, I want to mention a match in like '93, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, which I think was match of the year. Just so many really fucking good moments even early on before it kind of hit its stride even. So, what a great fucking show. 25 years.
Remember when they were in the middle of building the feud, the program with Michaels and Angle for WrestleMania 21, and that's when like Kurt did the whole "I'm the sexy Kurt" song.
Yeah, I'm a sexy Kurt.
But then he do you remember when he was that SmackDown?
He wrestled Marty Jannetty that same
which was
week.
an incredible match.
It was.
Was that on SmackDown?
Yes, it was on SmackDown.
Oh, dang.
But it got Marty Jannetty a job for a minute.
Yeah, until he fucked it up again. Poor Marty.
And then he wanted to date his own daughter.
Oh, Marty.
Someone needs to get him hooked up with DDP or something.
I can tell you some Marty stories, man.
He'll be fine. He just needs some DDP yoga.
I can tell you some Marty stories, man.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear a Marty story.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Real quick before we move into Raw and SmackDown and obviously discuss the rumbles that are coming up and all the entrants so far. There's breaking news. 2 bits of breaking news. One, Impact still doesn't know how to keep a surprise. They decided to put out today that in the tapings, there's a brand new Impact champion, and that is Austin Aries.
Wow.
Yep. So
good for him.
And speaking of TNA, Matt Hardy has come to terms with Anthem on the broken gimmick. So with the new agreement that's going down with Anthem, they are relinquishing any ownership and will allow more opportunity for Matt to monetize that moving forward.
Good for him. I mean, he's already kind of doing the gimmick
I'm
anyway.
gonna have to start watching Impact again. Damn it!
There's so much wrestling.
I know. Damn it.
Yeah. So I am gonna tune in. I just kind of want to see how it's going. You know, like I said, I got friends and stuff on there now, so I should fucking watch
Especially
it.
with
anyway.
the one and only Hakeem Zayn that was on here.
Yeah,
is,
the podcast Detroit affiliation with Border City Wrestling. You know, and
you know what I'm saying?
Scott D'Amore and Impact, and
yeah, we're trying to get more involved.
it's almost like we work for them.
We don't.
I mean, we don't, but it's almost like we don't. No, we don't.
I'm trying to get more over with the Detroit independent scene, like that Avid Pro Wrestling. That's the up and coming.
I hear really good things about those guys.
Can't wait for them to make some announcements. I heard their commissioner
Big things
is
in
phenomenal.
2018. Big things.
So moving on, the Royal Rumble for the women is officially has 17 entrants, and where'd that go? There we go. With Becky Lynch recently announcing on SmackDown Live this week that she is in it, the 17 entrants that are involved in this are Asuka, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, Bayley, Naomi, Natalya, Paige, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Tamina, Lana, Carmella, and, like I said, Becky Lynch. 17 names. You got the Bellas coming back Raw 25. Do you think that makes 18 and 19? Or at least 18?
I don't know. I don't know this woman's rumble. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say at least one of the Bellas comes back.
Yeah, I think it's likely we'll see them in the
I think
rumble.
we get maybe a Beth Phoenix.
Well, Orlando had made mention prior to us coming on the air.
Yeah, there's
what
rumors,
are the rumors?
That Michelle McCool, which I was surprised to hear because she had cancer, I thought. I guess that doesn't fall under their wellness policy.
She beat it.
And then, what was the other one I mentioned? Oh, Molly Holly.
which
would be cool
Molly
to see.
Holly's awesome, dude.
I just wonder if today's audience knows who she is.
Do you think the
Because
Dudleys
they-
are going to put her through a table on Raw 25?
I wish.
That'd be fucking spectacular.
but I don't know if that's going to
Is there a trash can over there?
yeah.
I made it. No video.
but yeah.
Swish.
I mean
Swish.
I like
Did you
Molly
hear that?
Holly a lot.
Yeah.
And I would like to see her back, even if it's just the Rumble for one night. I wonder what the audience is gonna do.
Right.
I mean, we heard the Easter egg on Raw, Kurt on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, who I would have liked to have been in that Rumble, who's not going to be, is Jazzy Gabbert from the Mae Young Classic.
Right. Yeah, but we've discussed that.
Do you think you'll see Trish Stratus?
I think anything
they
but
need-
Lita is possible.
I think they need a name like that. I think they need a Trish in this Rumble.
And that was my Lita. You think
No, I think Lita's way too fucked up.
she won't get cleared?
No. I don't think they would. Yeah. They have her involved with commentary for a reason.
Yeah, I think Trish. I think we talked about this before, and I think Melina. I think Melina is going to show up for some reason. I want.
I love the fact that Melina's just sitting on your tongue. Yo.
Sitting on his tongue, huh?
Sitting on my tongue.
Yeah. Yo.
So yeah, I just have a feeling Melina is going to be there.
Joe, who is someone that you would pop the fuck out for if they showed up?
You know, not to sound like a typical male, I've never been a huge fan of women's wrestling enough for someone to like come back after not being here for a while that would make me pop like that. I don't know. Come back to me on that. Let me think about. Let me resonate on that.
There's
one
not
for a
many
second.
people here, man.
I said it.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm a little verklempt.
He's already said Melina.
Yeah, Melina. I think I've said
Again?
it before. I want to see Alondra Blaze.
Yeah.
I think her showing up after so long. She's still in good shape when she was at the Hall of Fame, at least body wise. I mean,
Right.
whatever. She's 40, 50, whatever. But there's guys that get in there at 40 and 50. Let's see Alondra Blaze pop.
Okay, I don't think that Gail Kim, but I think she's like going to be Impact loyal for the.
I'm 100% not asking for anyone that you think is also going to show up. Just someone that would, if they showed up, you just be like,
Awesome
holy
Kong.
fuck.
I would
for.
pop for Gail Kim. Yeah, I guess I would pop for Awesome Kong.
Nice.
Or Karma or whatever they called her.
I think she was Karma. in
Yeah,
WWE.
Karma.
Yeah. And then she was.
I'll tell you who. ODB, baby.
No.
Yes, dude, she's entertaining. Come on.
She's super entertaining, but I don't think
She's
she,
not-
She would not get over WWE.
Yeah, she's not cut for that brand.
I don't know. I think that's still wrestling's, major forte right there. The crowd that she would bring.
I mean, I think so, but I don't think they'll do
she's
that.
too crass in the ring. She's always grabbing her boobs and her crotch and stuff. And,
What?
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So there's a couple women out there. I think they really do need a couple of those bigger name women. The maybe an AJ Lee, maybe a Trish, maybe a Beth Phoenix.
AJ was going to be my comment. Obviously, I
Okay,
I don't-
some minor pops, maybe Ivory or Jackie.
yeah, I think Ivory could go.
I think Jackie could go for a one night
Mm-hmm.
type deal.
Right, if it's just a Rumble, I mean, a lot of people you can get in there just for a Rumble. That's probably one of the safer matches you can be involved in. The only thing you
Right.
got to worry about is people landing on you, or the whole goal in a Rumble is just don't fall down, basically.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of people in there. If there's a spot plan, whatever, but then you get the fuck out the way.
yeah.
That's really your goal in a Rumble is get the fuck out the way and wait for your moment. Other than that, you just pretend to throw people over the rope.
Right.
Pretend to get
Yeah.
thrown over.
AJ Lee was my big, huge pop. Obviously, I really don't think that'll happen, but man, when they talk about who started the women's revolution, she was the one ripping in to everyone with her, supposed pipe bomb promos where she was saying, you guys are just pretty. I'm the only one here that can wrestle. And she was right. At that time, she was the one who could go. So I would like to see her come back, especially with this whole fucking women's revolution thing that's allegedly going on that WWE likes to keep calling it.
Yeah.
I might say if they got their head out of their ass about Emma and she came back.
Oh, that would be a good time for Emma to show back up.
Yeah, I don't know. In general, I just think what this Rumble really needs is it needs some name value.
Mhm.
Because these girls, I don't care for watching a huge rumble with all these girls.
So I mean, well, Rousey, that's gonna be
Rousey. If Rousey, they need a few. They need more than one.
Is it a given that Rousey's gonna be in this thing?
I don't think it's a given. But,
No, it hasn't even been.
But if she, obviously there's still the girls on the main roster that are gonna get their pop. But I don't. It's not the same type of pop that you're gonna see in the men's Royal Rumble. So they need a Rousey. They need a fucking Trish. They need something that's gonna make me go, holy shit, let's watch this.
Is there anyone from like the Mae Young Classic that would pop, like a Candice LeRae?
Well, no, none of them would pop me on that level, but it would still be cool to see one or two of them. I think you're gonna see one or two of them anyways.
I'd like to see Toni Storm.
So I think you're gonna see one. Maybe Ember Moon comes up. You know, I think
I don't think but Toni Storm's like the champion in another promotion. That's why she didn't sign with them. Or else I think she might have won that whole thing.
Right, and then I think maybe you might see Ember Moon or somebody. I don't know. They need a couple. Any girl that's got some name value is really what I'd be looking for in this Rumble because they need it.
Who else has name value that we haven't mentioned so far?
So ESPN is reporting as of literally an hour ago that Ronda and Triple H had dinner in LA. Triple H is there in LA to speak to the Television Critics Association panel. Ronda didn't comment when approached by TMZ. Only thing she said was, "I enjoy fine dining." Yeah. So they're still talking,
right? And they need it though. They need something.
Man,
like that
I'm
for this.
sticking to my guns, dude. If they get Rousey for this, if she agrees, or if this signed it next week, you get Asuka versus Nia together. I could see that switching to Asuka versus Bliss and Asuka.
Maybe they do the Goldberg thing where she runs through Nia and then goes through Bliss the same night. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, you could see that 100% because I'm telling you, man, 100. If fucking Asuka's in this match, Asuka needs to win it, and if Asuka's not in this match, Ronda Rousey's gonna win it.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way,
Asuka is in the Rumble,
but if she wins the title, she's out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the champs are in it.
Either way,
that match next week.
Yeah, and it's the last Raw before Rumble.
They definitely need some name value from these women to pop, and Rousey's got it.
Yeah. So, like I said, who is there out there that's a possibility with name value that we haven't mentioned yet?
I don't know.
I think we've mentioned everyone that could get a good name.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of anyone else who'd be left, but I'm sure we're forgetting somebody, but I can't think of them right now.
You don't think like a Velvet Sky or an Angelina Love or something like that, no?
No, I don't think they're. It's not like AJ Styles when he showed up. Everybody knows who the fuck that is. I just don't think everyone's gonna even recognize who the fuck Velvet Sky is.
Right. Even though with Bubba showing up and him, dating her.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I just don't think it's gonna be the pop that they need.
Yeah.
I think we've touched on pretty much any possibility that it could be.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's what I think they need, and it's going to be interesting because, like I said, they have more open spots in the male Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think they have more of an opportunity in a way to pop us. Are they going to do that? I don't know because the last fucking 4 or 5 Rumbles have been some of the worst pay-per-views of the year. With the exception of, I think that triple threat match that they had a couple of years ago with Rollins.
And last year's Rumble had AJ versus Cena, which was phenomenal. Like that was.
So there's always a title match that's good, but the actual Rumbles themselves have been shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm hoping this year it changes. I'm hoping like this is one of the really fun events in wrestling, and it just sucks that
it used to be anyway.
Yeah, it just sucks the way that they've kind of killed your hype for it. Like I said, I'm more hyped up for Raw 25 than I am the Rumble.
And to be fair, though, a lot of times going into the Rumble, you kind of knew who was going to win. And that's the thing that's kind of missing with the Women's Royal Rumble. Like, look, I'm excited for it, but you keep Asuka in that match, you just kind of believe Asuka's winning that match. If she gets eliminated, that's a loss on her record. And I don't think WWE is going to give her first loss at a Rumble.
The only thing is, like, again, I think you're applying logic, and I don't think WWE applies that much logic. I think the fact that she's been undefeated is probably the fact that she was in NXT so long, and that she's still fresh on the Raw brand. I think it'll be sooner and probably a really dumb loss really quickly just to kill that undefeated shit for her. I really think they're going to be dumb. They're not going to use it where they build her up and then somebody beats her. I think she'll just lose randomly, and then it'll be the end of it, and then she'll just be a really good woman wrestler that they can throw.
Do you really think that her first loss isn't going to be to put somebody else over as a big monster?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if she loses to Nia on Raw.
I wouldn't. If Asuka stays in that and Ronda shows up, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened. The last two.
I'm just saying, I don't think that they put a lot of stock in that long-term shit.
Yeah.
As much as we would like them to.
Right. Men's Royal Rumble, 11 people have announced their entry for it. John Cena, Finn Balor, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Elias, Baron Corbin, Matt Hardy, Samoa Joe, Bray Wyatt, Aiden English, and Rusev. Samoa Joe being the one that you wonder if it's really going to be, because after Raw, he was injured. He heard something pop in his foot, and the doctors told him that he needs to have a little cast on it, kind of stay
Soft
off
cast.
of it. Yeah, soft
Yeah,
cast.
I heard that's relatively minor though, like some plantar fasciitis.
Yeah, I
crap.
had a soft cast on about a year ago, and I cut it off almost immediately and worked on it that weekend. So I think he'll be fine.
He said he still plans on working the Rumble.
Which is awesome. They pulled him out of the mixed match challenge. That's why Elias is in it now, because it was going to be Joe and Bailey, and now it's Elias. Excuse me, and Bailey.
I like that better anyway. I don't see Joe in that mixed match challenge anyway.
With the men's Royal Rumble, and look, I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't think any of us thought Randy Orton was taking it last year.
No,
I think that
Who
one.
the hell would have picked that?
Yeah, I think.
Why would they have picked that?
Man.
I mean, it wasn't the worst in comparison to the couple of years they've had prior. But
WWE safety net booking.
yeah, it just wasn't good. It wasn't something that I had forgotten he won until you just mentioned it to me. I would not have remembered that on my own.
Who? All right, I made mention of this a couple weeks ago. I said I thought Kevin Owens was going to win it. 100%. I thought Owens was going to take it. A guy from the Blue Brand, but now my thoughts have switched. Not just because the fact that Kevin Owens is in a title match,
A handicap title match.
Yeah. What they're doing on Raw with Balor Club. I could see Finn winning because I don't think WWE's invested in Shinsuke yet. And I don't think anyone else from the Blue Brand is ready to go main event after Owens and Zayn. I could even see Owens and Zayn taking this title.
I still think Roman Reigns is your favorite here.
Man, I know. Oh, God.
I mean, I don't want to see that, but I'm telling you, I really think...
Dude, there's no way. And here's why I say no way. It's the Philly crowd. The Philly crowd is who they just had Roman Reigns, the biggest
They don't care, Mikey.
Yeah, Vince
They're
McMahon
trying
is
to
literally
get him
a
over.
troll, dude. I'm telling you, he'll troll his fans.
He'll do
But
it on purpose
yeah,
just to
But
spite
he's
you.
That's what
trying
I'm
to
saying.
make them cheer for him. Why would he do something to make them boo him?
Because he does what he wants to do, and it's almost like he's letting them know.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I do.
I'll show them. Ha ha.
And-
Roman Reigns going over in Philly. Ha.
honestly, like it's
Whether they like it or not.
I don't think they have their touch on the audience is what the audience wants always. I think they really don't give a fuck and they do what they want.
I agree. They don't give a fuck what the audience wants for the most part.
Which I think is...
I'm agreeing with that. I'm not denying that.
Again, Mike, in pure theory, what you're saying makes 100% sense to me. And if you're booking matches, I go, oh, Mikey's making perfect sense. I don't think... I just don't think that they give a shit.
Man, you give it to Roman. It's you killed him. You killed him.
Maybe he turns heel in the Rumble. I don't know. They could do a lot of things. Are they going to do any of them? No. And I still think Roman Reigns is going to win the damn Rumble. And it's going to be a shit show. I mean, they tried to get The Rock to come out and help him the one time, and
Right,
still
it didn't
got
work.
booed.
It was 100%. Yeah, it's the Shield got him over.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if Cena wins this Rumble.
Then him versus AJ.
Yeah.
I think Finn. I think they finally got the fire behind Finn.
if he wins, he goes to SmackDown or something. I don't.
Oh yeah,
I don't see-
100.
I don't
No,
see-
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. He's not going to challenge Brock. He's switching brands. If
Yeah.
Finn wins, he's going to the blue brand, and they probably bringing Gallows and Anderson with him.
Okay, that'd be fine.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think Finn is going to win it and take on Brock.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I don't think him.
Nope,
and
it's
Brock would be
100%
good.
Roman and Brock.
Not Finn as a heel, anyways.
Yeah, not Finn at all, because we all
Right.
know it's Roman and Brock at Mania.
Right. So
It's not going to be.
So
an
I still
option.
think Roman's your favorite. I don't want him to be, and I really think it's a bad idea, especially with the Philly crowd. I just don't think they care enough to change the way that they're going to book their show.
I lied. I'm sorry. Next week is not Raw 25. It's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I said next week, but it is the Raw before the Rumble. So we got 2 Raws to go before this Royal Rumble. Not everything's going to be flushed out next week. Sorry, I said that earlier. So you're thinking Roman's the favorite, Orlando. Joe, do you have
Bliss and Asuka's still next week, right?
So yeah, because that could honestly happen. It could be
Or is that on the 25th anniversary show?
Asuka and Nia is next week. So it's very possible Asuka and Bliss happened at Raw 25.
Okay. So, all right.
So yeah, you got 2 weeks for the women. That's when all that talk happened. So I have Finn as my favorite right now. Orlando says Roman. Joe, who do you think is going to? Do you think is the favorite to take the Rumble right now?
I agree with Roman.
Roman.
Yeah. I mean, because it's already set in stone. He's going to take on Brock at Mania for the most part. So it seems like the obvious pick at this point.
I don't see. I don't know. He's got to be your favorite going in. Like, I get the Finn argument. I get the other arguments for pretty much anyone else you can make. And again, WWE might throw us a surprise and Randy Orton or somebody stupid might win again. But Roman Reigns is the easiest one to bet on. If there's betting odds, I would have to say he's your favorite. Like
when we're filling out PW scorecards in a couple of weeks, my pick might change by then, depending on what happens on the next couple of Raws. But as of right now, it's Roman.
I think Finn takes it, and then at the Elimination Chamber, it's an Elimination Chamber match with 6 guys to figure out who's the number 1 contender for Brock at Mania. That's just my thought. That's been my thought consistently for the number 1 contender, just because.
And all that makes sense.
Well, I'm a really good booker.
But you're using logic.
I'm a really good booker.
And I just don't think it applies always, man. I just don't think they think about shit like that. They're really in the moment and they're doing what they want to do, despite the WWE universe having control that they always say.
Anybody want to make a bet? I just want to bet that Roman won't win. So obviously what's happened on Raw and SmackDown, Miz made his return, said he's definitely coming back. He wants the IC title back. Balor Club kicked off the show. So did Roman, obviously, the Shield-ish. First segment and final segment. Finn got the pin over Seth Rollins. I was thinking he'd get it over Jason Jordan. I think them giving the pin to him over Seth Rollins is a better call if they're trying to put the gas under them.
Okay.
You put him over Jordan. It's like, yeah, that's what Jordan's there for. He's the job. So Seth taking the fall, I think, is obviously Roman wasn't going to take the fall, but I think
he's winning the Rumble.
Joe, you're the one who is the largest spokesperson for Vince McMahon not doing anything good with outside talent. They come in, you're the one who mostly says his job is to bury them. He wants to bury them. And do you think now, with the last...
I mean, it's... never mind, go ahead. I believe that to be true, but continue.
I know. That's why I said it. This is just for people that are listening now that haven't listened before. Do you feel that he's going to bury Balor Club, or is he finally going, can't beat the Bullet Club, might as well do our own version?
No, it's nice to see Gallows and Anderson do something other than just be, fall down guys.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wrestling
I
with
don't think.
pumpkins on their head.
Yeah, I don't think this is. I think this is a little something, but I don't think it's anything major that's gonna like. It's gonna be like the way the Bullet Club took over New Japan. That like that's gonna happen again here. I don't think it's anything like that, and I don't think it's gonna push Finn to Universal Championship match conversations or getting shipped over to the Blue Brand and fighting AJ for the world. I think it's something to maybe shift around conversation or make it a conversation piece a little bit more. Maybe move them up the card a little bit, but I don't think it's supposed to be anything like groundbreaking as far as any of their booking goes.
Orlando.
I mean, I'm not as pessimistic as Joe, but I don't think it's going to be a huge thing either. I think it can be. I think if they move it to the Blue Brand, I think it has a real shot. On the Raw brand, there's too many guys that they go up against that are too strong. That, unless Finn starts being like the shithole heel where he has to run away from fighting, which is fine.
I think they're going to put him in a gray area. I'm sorry to cut you off, but like even the line that he said to Jason Jordan, he goes, "I've been running with these guys since 10 years before you knew that Kurt Angle was your dad." That
was pretty funny.
It's one, but it's not a face line. That is a definite gray area line.
Well, I definitely think they're pushing the group as a heel.
Yeah.
My thing is, it has potential. It has a chance. How much stock do they really put in it, though? I question. And I question whether or not on Raw they have the ability to get over the way that they would on SmackDown. On SmackDown, it really is the land of opportunity. You can get over there. I just think on Raw, when you have Roman Reigns looking strong all the fucking time, you have Brock Lesnar looking strong, you have Braun Strowman looking strong all the fucking time. Now all of a sudden Kane's looking strong again. Kane just fucking smoked Finn.
And look at all those guys you mentioned too. Raw's still kind of the land of the giants.
Yeah, and
SmackDown isn't.
Right, and I just think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it could work, and it could be a successful heel group, but he's going to have to be a shithole heel all of a sudden. You know what I mean? He's going to have to be the guy stealing matches, the guy running away from fights, and all that stuff. It's not going to be
You think that's the only type of heel he could be as a chicken shit heel?
On Raw. On SmackDown, he can be dominant. Because it's not just the size of the guys, it's just the fact that those guys aren't built up to be monsters.
Right.
On Raw, it's every other fucking top guy is a monster.
Because a lot of people, including you, have said that they don't really see like what it is about Finn Balor. Like what's the appeal? Like I don't like what's his allure. Well, I think that if done correctly, I think that could change a lot of people's who have that feelings perception if he's a good heel. And I know because he's been a heel. I mean, Bullet Club was heel when he started that shit.
Well, he sounds much better talking as a heel. Than
yeah,
a babyface.
I think he could
this
be,
week he was really 100% better on the mic.
For people that think he's bland and doesn't, I think. I don't know, maybe check him out as a heel and maybe you'll feel different,
right?
You know?
And then maybe we don't see the fucking demon until he really fucking needs it. And then it makes sense again. Instead of every time I have a pay-per-view match or every other pay-per-view match, I'm the demon again. So there's lots of ways that it can happen. There's lots of ways that it can get over. On Raw, I don't think it doesn't have a lot of longevity for me. I agree. I just don't see it happening there. Yeah. On SmackDown, they can run through fucking almost that whole roster and look strong. On Raw, they fucking can't. Even the tag team division, Sheamus and Cesaro are bigger than fucking Gallows and Anderson. You know what I mean? Like, they're physically just wider. They're fucking thicker. They're more muscular. Like, you just think about everything there. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I guess SmackDown's got the Bludgeon Brothers. That's not, whatever. But either way,
right.
Those guys aren't built up either. Which, by the way, the Bar lost this week. A random match that made no sense. Whatever. We're not going to cover Raw much, but that was one of the dumbest decisions I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I was surprised with that. I was like, what? That's exactly what I said too. I was like, what? When I was watching it.
Yeah, who do they lose to?
Titus and Apollo.
Who've never beat anybody.
Right.
And then they beat the tag champ.
Worldwide?
Oh, yeah.
I assume it's one of those other things where, hey, it's a Big Four pay-per-view. We want to get everybody on the show again, so you're going to be added to this tag title match now. Which is dumb because those guys have never... Again, I don't mind if they had built them up, but because I actually find the Titus brand shit to be entertaining somewhat. I find Apollo Crews to be a good talent. If they had built them up and then they fucking won, sure. But they've literally, it's one of those Jinder Mahal's obscurity out of nowhere wins.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to be relevant in the tag division because of it. It's just dumb.
I agree. Also on Raw. Oh, where did it go? What was it going? Oh, yeah. So Batman was backstage at Raw. Had himself a grappling hook in a huge box that Braun Strowman used to pull down a wall on top of Kane and Brock Lesnar. Obviously, we all know it was
that box is meant for a grappling hook too. It's like when you open a toolbox and like it has all like the shape for the wrench where the wrench goes. Like that box when you open it, it had the grappling hook spot. Like,
that made me wonder what the fuck does WWE use a grappling hook for?
That's what I was
because it's not like he just pulled it out of some bullshit. We're like, oh, we're going to throw it in here. No, it was a legit WWE as a grappling hook box.
Yeah. I wonder what truck that goes on.
Right,
the grappling hook box. Can we Google that?
So, and then Brock was stretchered off as Kane stood up and walked off. Does that hurt Brock at all?
No, Brock does this when anytime he's building up somebody, he always gets his ass kicked that one time, and then when the match comes around, he's back to Monster Brock. So I actually thought the segment was entertaining. I thought the fighting was fine. I thought the hook part was fucking ridiculous. I thought that part was dumb. As how can you not? How could they randomly have this box? It was like one of those moments.
He got it on the first throw too. Did you see that?
It's totally pre-taped.
Come on, that was live.
It's one of those.
Man.
It's one of those like horror movie moments where it's like, why the fuck would you do that? You know, like why is that randomly put there? You know, like
it was to build up that wall.
Right.
Like that's how you got the wall up.
Right. They pulled it up with a grappling hook.
Yeah.
Who's sitting back there pulling up this wall?
Braun, he's ring crew before the show starts.
You got like 6 or 7 guys on the one
he's
end.
He's like Paul Bunyan, you know. He can like do the work of like a bunch of machinery.
Watch out, guys! Let me get my grappling hook. Exactly. I leave that there. I might need it later.
I'm so good at setting it up, I'll be a pro at pulling it down too.
It was just one of 4 grappling hooks, man. Like they got the guys up in the rafters, they drop them down. You connect it, will help lift it up.
That's how construction is done.
Grappling hooks.
Yeah,
I've seen it done on union job sites.
Next week, Brock is going to use shark repellent on Braun.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It just that was weird. Other than that, I actually enjoyed the fighting and stuff. I just thought that was whatever.
In our little chat, like Z was saying, he's like, I was literally saying to myself, like, who the fuck does he think he is, Batman? I said the same fucking thing to my girlfriend. I was like, who's this guy think he is, fucking Batman? What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, so that was nonsensical, but the rest of it I thought was good, and I think it at least made me interested in seeing their match, which I was not interested in seeing.
This week, Absolution suffered their first real loss. Like we kind of mocked.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, don't get it.
I lose as a fan every time Paige comes out.
Why?
I don't know. It just chips away at me.
You don't like Paige?
No. No. I didn't like her before either. So
even before the porn,
I never cared for her.
I never
either.
liked her.
Really?
And now, like,
I hate that she yelled, "This is my house." She'd been there for a year. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like with her screeching fucking nails down a chalkboard fucking voice that like gave me AIDS every time she said it. And then now look now she like her lips, like the Joker wears better lipstick than she does, dude. What the fuck is that, dude? She looks like a fucking clown shoes, dude.
Like
she looks ridiculous. I'm sorry. I just don't like. I've never been a fan of hers, and I hate her even more now. I don't like her.
But then I thought them losing still made no sense. Yeah. That was dumb. They did the same thing on SmackDown, by the way. Becky Lynch.
And then but the Riot Squad had lost previous. It wasn't the first time they lost.
Still, just dumb booking.
Yeah, I agree. It was stupid. Matt Hardy came out with his new music for the first time on television.
That's cool. I wish he wasn't facing Kurt Hawkins. I would have liked to see like a little more than 40 seconds.
Yeah,
but I get that's the idea. Slow kind. They're kind of trying to gauge the audience and get it over. But
and it went. Crowd popped.
Yeah.
As soon as the piano hit and they realized what it was, my only beef is the Hardy Boys, Tron and fucking ramp. I was like,
They'll change that.
Yeah, I know, but still, like that takes you out of the whole fucking thing.
But that music was sweet, by the way. I thought the music was really good for the gimmick.
Is he going to do a little bit more with the woke and broken stuff than just laugh? I hope.
I hope so.
I think that's okay. I get that the laugh is kind of annoying.
It was funny,
but it's
like,
also super over the top, stupid, like
it
everything
is.
else the broken stuff is.
But like, okay, let's do a little bit more, than just the laugh.
I think the finalizing of all the anthem stuff is going to change a lot next week.
I think you're going to see Senior Benjamin. I really do.
I want to see Vanguard 1, God damn it.
I think you'll see Senior Benjamin before you see anything else or anybody else.
Really,
if I don't see a drone fly out to the ring at some point, I'm going to feel a little ripped off. I'm not just saying.
Oh, Vanguard 1, yes. Delete this transmission with your spot monkey addiction.
Exactly.
SmackDown.
SmackDown was shit. It was bad. It was not a good week for SmackDown.
Fucking
I
Fandango
don't feel
and
so bad for missing half of it now. Then
Breezango went over.
Yeah, which I was okay with. That was I heard a lot of people had issues with that. I didn't mind that. Breezango's been an established tag team at least longer than Rusev and them, so I didn't mind that. But I mean, the rest of the show was just.
I thought Raleigh Mojo versus Zach was good.
I didn't.
Really?
I thought it was bad. It was just I didn't care.
And why
Ultimately, I didn't care. I like that promo that when they cut, they need to have him do that in front of the live audience. And first off, Zack Ryder, I don't care about.
Zach cut a promo too. Someone didn't share that, but Zach cut a promo as well. That was really good.
I don't care about Zach. I thought his gear looked stupid. What did it say? Zach Down Live or something?
Yeah. That's funny. My girlfriend actually, she's like, does his shorts say Zach Down Live?
That's not the first time they had it.
She's like, oh my God. I know, but she's like a non-fan watcher.
Yeah.
She's like, that's dumb.
Right.
See? And that's the casual, walking by the TV audience there.
Right.
So.
Going, that's dumb. And so I don't care. And I think that it feels to me like they're building Mojo up for that U.S. title. It feels that way to me, which is fine. Just let him fucking do those promos that he did. And that way he can actually get over. Maybe I'll actually care about what the fuck he's doing. Because right now I don't. And I don't want to see him and Zach anymore.
I think him and Zach needs to be done after that. I agree with that.
I don't know if you guys feel this way, but they had Bobby Roode come down and sit ringside. Why would you do that and not give him a headset? Like that, just have him sit there. Isn't that kind of?
It's happened before.
I know it's happened before, but
foreshadowing.
It's like dumb, kind of like. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was dumb though.
Like that would be awkward as a performer, just sitting there like not behind a desk with a headset. Like I'd feel more comfortable being at the commentary desk than just sitting there. Like
I don't think you'd feel more comfortable being at the commentary desk.
Not now deep into my podcast career, I would.
Right.
I, just because my social anxiety would be even worse sitting there out in the open, just sitting there like trying to make facial expressions the whole time to keep myself like acting like I'm captivated in this fucking match.
I know the Riot Squad has already lost, but it really seemed like Becky Lynch could beat almost anybody. They didn't need the Riot Squad to be involved in that, especially Ruby Riott or whatever. That just seemed dumb to me.
Yeah, but everyone else is basically a face on that brand.
I don't give a shit. Throw out fucking somebody. Carmella. She got the Money in the Bank briefcase. She'll still be fine. Mm-hmm. She can take the loss. It was just dumb to have her come. First off, I was with Joe. Like, I didn't really notice that she was gone. So it wasn't, and when she was gone for 2 months. Stop acting like this is a long fucking time. 2 months is not a long enough time for me to care that you've been gone.
That's 8 episodes.
Yeah, right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's 8 straight weeks of not seeing Becky. I saw her return first at the fucking house show.
Yeah, some people just aren't on TV that long because creative doesn't have anything for them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably see
and then they don't make a big deal when they come back because they barely had anything for them anyway.
Right. It was dumb. That was dumb. I thought the promos were not as good. I still like the teasing of the Brian Shane stuff. But I thought like AJ came across looking like kind of whiny. That like the promo they wrote for him.
No, I don't think it's fair, but that's life.
Yeah.
Life isn't fair.
Yeah, I was like that was not a good moment for him. That did not make him look good.
Yeah. Like you could even tell when he was saying it, he was like, God, I have to fucking give this line.
And then the favor or like the idea that then it's gonna be 3 baby faces versus the 2 heels, when the 3 baby faces are all essentially main event guys and only one of the heels is a main event guy. It was just It was strange.
Yeah, but they're really trying. I mean, look, Sammy's got a title match.
Yeah, but he's not the sidekick, and everyone knows
Yeah,
that.
100%. Which would make it even funnier if he wins the belt.
Well, I'd be interested in seeing them as the co-champs or whatever,
Right.
which they mentioned, but just not towards Mania. I think towards Mania would be a mistake. But if this was any other time of the year, I think them as co-champ, I think that'd be really interesting. You do a lot of things with that. I just going into Mania, I'm like, I just want to see fucking.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna win the match just for the simple fact that I believe that this is gonna perpetuate them to Sammy versus KO at Mania.
Or I think it's going to be the Shane Bryan story from here.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, I think
But-
Shane Bryan is gonna happen.
But SmackDown was shit, though. It just was nonsense, dumb. TV.
Shane coming out calling the audible on the match twice.
Yeah, it's just dumb. I'm just. I don't get the general manager commissioner beef on all these fucking shows. This one makes sense. Like they built it up to actually matter a little bit. But if I'm the GM and I hired you, I'm still your fucking boss. So if I tell you something, that's what you do. That's the way the real world works. But somehow these commissioners just get to do whatever they want anyways. It's
Being
like
the GMs.
I get to, or excuse me, or maybe I'm saying it backwards.
Yeah, it's
then they
backwards.
get to yell at the fucking commissioner.
Well, that's the whole like problem with the authority figure on
I
TV and
know.
wrestling anyway. I mean, okay, like you just went and punched your boss. Well, you're fired.
Well,
you know, like
let's be honest. The authority figure really should be a side note and should never be involved.
like
in a,
Jack fucking Tunney.
right, exactly. That's exactly what it should be because we've seen the fucking the fucking guy get involved already. Like, we don't. What more? How many times can we see the authority figure get beat up?
Always. You're always going to see it because
dumb.
the McMahons need their name on TV.
It's just dead though.
and-
it's a dead angle.
And
It is.
to an extent, though, what's the hottest thing on SmackDown? Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. I agree that Stephanie got
SmackDown
real.
wasn't good. That's the point. If that's your highlight, then you get something wrong.
Have you guys read any of this? Like into this theory that I just read that WWE offered Daniel Bryan a rather sizely contract, but for a non-wrestling role as he's in now, but big money, good money, which he turned down because he wants to wrestle, which is now why they're turning him heel. Because it's like basically a given that he's not going to resign.
I mean, yeah, that's his contract is up September 18th, September 10th, something this year.
Yes. Yeah.
He's made mention that he wants to wrestle.
And
I haven't
I've
heard,
also he is on record. This is not hearsay. He is on record saying that if he's not booked to wrestle by WrestleMania, that he will not resign.
No, that's not what he said. What he said was they asked him what his percentage chance of returning to the WWE ring as a wrestler is, and he said, if I'm not wrestling at Mania, it's basically he doesn't feel he'll ever wrestle in WWE again. That's what he said.
I thought that he kind of like said that he put that like on his timeline for a goal that if he's not booked by Mania, then he's not going to be he's not going to be wrestling there.
Right now,
period.
he has come out and said that he feels there's a 20% chance he's going to, as in November, he said, so this is 2 months ago, beginning of November, he said there was a 20% chance that he'd wrestle for WWE again. Since then, this whole Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon thing has blown up.
Man, if he does wrestle again, I don't want to see Shane McMahon be his first opponent back, dude.
Why?
We've already talked about this.
Because you just hate Shane McMahon?
I don't hate Shane McMahon, but
No, wrestling, I mean.
I
Hate him being presented as he can compete with all these guys.
I want to see Daniel Bryan is a wrestler's wrestler. I want to see Daniel Bryan wrestle a wrestler. Like as a fan, if he's going to come back, I don't feel like that's too much to ask for. I mean, it's not like you're, asking for $1 million there. That seems pretty logical. But then again, you can throw logic out the window with WWE a lot of the time, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care if he wrestles or not. Like, I don't really have a dog in the race there, but it seems like the way they build up these storylines with these GMs that they should wrestle. or commission. I don't know what the fuck which one's which.
They're both the same exact thing with a different name. Except
And my thing is, historically,
the
at
GMs
one
are
point,
McMahon's, and
right, historically at one point the GMs were the bigger thing, and now it's the commissioners that are the bigger role. Which I don't know what job has ever changed where
Right. Triple H and Stephanie, like I said, they were at the Television Critics Association today, and yesterday, and they he took a question. The Rap asked Triple H if there is some sort of exception in WWE's strict policy that might allow SmackDown general manager Daniel Bryan to return to the ring. And this is Triple H's response, quote, "There can be no exception medically. If the belief is that he's not healthy enough and there's a risk for him to perform, then I don't know why you'd allow him to step into the ring unless it could be proven otherwise. There will be no exceptions. We have some of the best medical people in the world that work for us. Our wellness policy, our concussion programming, our protocols, I'll put them up there against any on the planet. There is a new science in a way too, so we're going to look at it from all aspects, but the medical experts will make the determination as to whether he can ever step into the ring or not. Look, personally for him, I know it would be something he would love to do, and part of me feels like I hope he has that opportunity. But at the same point in time, he's married and has a child. Certainly, we put the human being first."
Nice, good company answer, which is a great answer though. I mean, realistically, that's the right way you answer that question. But he's saying what you didn't talk about in that. Daniel Bryan's been saying that he was cleared by all these other doctors, and all this. And so I don't really know. I think ultimately it's gonna be up to him. I'm sure he can wrestle. I'm sure he'll be fine. I don't think he's quite as bad as they've made it out to be. But I also know people that have had seizures and stuff from wrestling, and who had to retire, and so. But then again, I've seen them go back and wrestle too. So I don't know. Once you got that bug and you have that itch to wrestle, that like you're not going to scratch it. You know what I mean? I think he's got that itch. I think he's going to go wrestle. And if they're not going to let him do it there, he's going to do it somewhere. I just think ultimately that's what's going to happen.
if they don't let him wrestle, he'll be in New Japan or something.
Like that's just what's going to happen. Again, when you're a person, it's one of those things is, I have one kidney and I was told I wasn't allowed to do a lot of sports and stuff. I did them anyways, you know what I mean? And I have one, bad kidney, and that's all I have. And I do all the stupid shit that I do. And it's one of those things where it's like, you got one life. You're going to live it the way you want to live it. You're not going to let somebody else tell you what you kind of can't do.
And there's always the small conspiracy theorist in me, too, that WWE doesn't want him to get cleared because they know he's so fucking overpowering as far as his popularity goes that he'll just overtake any booking plans they have for the future because of what, the fan reaction would be to him.
He would do that, but I don't know if that's, I think
that's a conspiracy theorist in me. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But it's a theory.
But I would say if he's this intent on wrestling, I think you're going to see him in a wrestling ring sooner or later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that the minute his contract expires, with Cody doing that, with Cody and the Bucks having that all-in pay-per-view later down the line for hopefully involving ROH talent, he mentioned in his dream booking, fantasy booking, he would love to be him versus Daniel Bryan for the ROH title. So that's a very good possibility. If WWE does not give Daniel Bryan the clearance to wrestle, Daniel Bryan has stated he wants to wrestle again. He, like you said, there has been many other doctors that have cleared him. It's the WWE doctors and the WWE protocol that he is not cleared. So any other company will allow Daniel Bryan to wrestle. He's not going to do it on a schedule that is as crazy as WWE schedule. He's going to be going around. He'll be wrestling maybe 10 dates a year.
Right.
Maybe
they're all
20.
going to be huge matches.
Yeah.
They're all going to be his, or maybe he'll do the New Japan thing or the Ring of Honor thing. I think
if
those
I had
are
to
your
bet
likely
money,
destinations.
It's Ring of Honor.
If I'm saying if he doesn't wrestle for WWE again, you'll see Daniel Bryan will be booked on Wrestle Kingdom 13.
Oh yeah,
I'll say that right now.
And I think
even if he wrestles for WWE,
and I think another reason why they want to keep Daniel Bryan around is because of that very reason. I think they're getting scared that New Japan might actually be some competition. WWE, and this isn't like conspiracy theory, this is a fact. They get very petty about even other companies, indie companies, when they're doing well. They purposely try to run in the same towns as them. They do that in the same dates. They do that shit on purpose. They really do. That's not something that I'm just saying. Like, that's like on record. They do that.
How can they do that though? How can they just make a date knowing
their dates are about 3 months in advance? And if you have a super indie, you have your dates for the year set up with your venues.
Oh, okay.
And so it's very easy to do that, and they do that quite regularly.
Okay.
They personally come in to compete and to take your audience. It's like they never want anyone to. They want to be the only thing in town. They really do.
Mhm.
And I think with New Japan, if the one guy's commenting already, they won't play nice. I think it's a realistic expectation that they're scared that Daniel Bryan's going to go wrestle for them, which is going to be more buzz for them.
Here's the thing. Daniel Bryan is clear after September. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The only way Daniel Bryan is not clear to leave WWE after September is if he signs a contract extension, if he signs a new contract. So if the WWE is not going to let him wrestle and he wants to wrestle, I don't even think it's an option for, I think even if WWE lets him wrestle at WrestleMania, if WWE with all of the other stuff that he comes in with lets him wrestle at Mania, I still think Daniel Bryan leaves in September. I still think you see Daniel Bryan on Wrestle Kingdom 13. I think you see Bryan Danielson show up in Ring of Honor and wrestle. I think Ring of Honor will be where he goes.
And I think when he shows up, because of how much name value he has now, at one point he was the most over guy in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he still is the biggest face in wrestling right now.
Either way,
dude. Even when he comes out, look at the fucking.
But when
with a GM,
look at that.
But when he shows
the arenas,
when
they go nuts when he comes.
When he
out.
shows up to wrestle somewhere, which he will, that is immediate draw.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That is a real draw. And if you're WWE and you're not concerned about Daniel Bryan going to wrestle somewhere else because you won't let him do it at yours, I think from a business standpoint, that'd be something. If New Japan just is cracking all this little ground now with Jericho and T-shirts being in local stores and the brand growing. If Daniel Bryan shows up, that's a huge jump. That's bigger than when Jericho goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that could be as Jericho is huge for New Japan. If Daniel Bryan did something similar, that could be as big, if not bigger.
Exactly. So
New Japan's owner commented that he wants to fill the outfield seats of the Tokyo Dome, hopefully for Wrestle Kingdom 13. And if Daniel Bryan doesn't sign an extension, I'm gonna tell you this right now: Wrestle Kingdom 13 could very well sell out the Tokyo Dome.
He'll help him do that. He'll help them do that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Make sure you check out all the other shows on podcastdetroit.com. Just go to podcastdetroit.com. There's a couple of the wrestling shows, some geek shows, some single shows, things like that. So make sure you're taking a time to check out the people that are putting us out there. BreakingDownTheRing.com has been updated. Obviously, you can go check that out if you haven't. If you have been checking it out, done you. Looks good. Hit us up on all of our social media, Facebook, BDRcast, Twitter, BDRcast, Snapchat, BDRcast. We also have the Patreon, BDRcast. If you guys want to give a little something to us, show some support, help us out. You believe in us. We believe in you. And of course, we have our merchandise up at ProWrestlingTees.com/BDRcast. Next week, we will talk a little bit more about Raw 25 as it's coming up. We will go into further about the Royal Rumble situation, and you never know. We'll probably break down what's going on with Austin Aries being the Impact champion now. We are your ring crew.
Armbar Joe.
Orlando.
For Z, for Smitey, and for Callie, who's going to London, I am the Almighty One. Thank you again so much for listening, everybody. We are out.